It's been a tough road so far for Quest Pro accessories, but I've got a set of $10 grips that look like maybe they'll be a little better than those Desktech ones that wouldn't charge, if you remember those. With tremendous pressure, I can get this to charge through the grip. But I let go, no charge. Let's see. They come in a bag. There is no frills to this. Virtualbuff controller grips for Oculus Quest Pro. I actually got these like right at launch, $10, and now they're unavailable on Amazon with 1 2-star review. So not off to a great start. They've got a hole in the bottom so that we can shove this through there. They slip on the same way the Desktech ones do. And as we've seen so far with grips, there just is not an easy way to engineer them because there's nothing for them to grab onto. So many grips relied on the tracking ring or some sort of design that came up the front that held on where these cameras now are, that they've really had a hard time with that. Interesting thing about silicone, usually the grips have like some texture on them to make them a little more grippy, and these are like smooth. Feels nice in the hand, but like without the wrist strap, I wouldn't say there's any more security that these add. The only security comes from that wrist strap. These in your hand, they feel like your hand's gonna slip around and slide, and you lose the texture that's on the outside of this. I think there's just no good way to do that. I tried a couple different ways there and just neither one felt right. Once you get them all on, they do seem like they're staying pretty much out of the way of the camera for now. Just sitting on there, we aren't playing with them yet, so that could change. Now the big question, the first question, is what killed it for me with the Desktech grips was, can these charge? It does leave a hole for the indicator lights here, so those indicator lights should light up if we actually have these things charging. The magnet that usually sticks them together here doesn't feel as solid now because of that little bit of silicone around it. With the silicone, it's not as easy to tell if you're on the spot. Oh, it vibrated. Is it on? Oh boy. So I would say it's closer than the Desktechs were. Like if you get it just right, the right one seems like it's wanting to charge actually fairly easily. I feel like this is just gonna be a problem for all grips that are being designed for these, because you'd have to make such a big hole to accommodate this dropping into the dock. Well, dang it, I had it. Spoiler alert, I'm not gonna recommend these because this is too finicky, but I'm trying here because I wanna see, like, is it possible? Could they say that these work and not be total liars? Because I did have one of them working there for a moment. I had it. The funny thing is I have yet to have them both work at the same time even once. The best I can do is the right one seems to pretty consistently work. You can see the light from over here. That left one really though, I just cannot get it to land. Well, if you wanna maybe charge one controller only for the rest of your life and really struggle every time you try and put them on, maybe, if you're someone out there who for some reason is still interested in the grips, regardless of the charging dock. One problem that we see with these kinds of grips, because they're using this soft silicone and they have not yet found a way to strap these things on where they stay on really tight. When you're playing a game like Beat Saber and you're really moving, what happens over time is these start to slip down here. And before you know it, they get down far enough that they're pushing in or holding in your grip buttons. And they can work their way back up if you kind of wiggle them around in your hands. If you were someone who's using these maybe 3D development, something where you were very methodical about your movements, you kept them in front of you, and you weren't playing Beat Saber Supernatural, you weren't going crazy like that, where it's about to go flying out of my hand now. If you were someone that used them just very gently, I'd be like, okay, maybe they work. This probably isn't the strap. And it's not completely the accessory makers, like they didn't make these in a way that they were easy to attach, you know. Other grips that snap around the front, you'd have to be very careful not to block these cameras when you do that. And looking at these Abaca ones, I feel like it's possible. Someone could pull it off. It needs somewhere to strap and hang on to. And without that, you just have this issue where if you were playing Beat Saber and you get to go and it's already working its way down. And if you kept going, you didn't notice that that was happening, well, there you go, your controller flies across the room, so. But the struggles you're gonna have with the dock and the fact that they don't really give you other better charging options, like it's not like there's a USB port on this somewhere that I can just always reliably plug in. You're just toast with these, so. $10, they're not even available anymore, and they have one really bad review. Well, now they have two. But what do you think? Is there any more Quest Pro accessories that look a little more promising that we can check out? Because for the most part, the Quest Pro doesn't need the kind of accessories the Quest 2 did, it seems like. I mean, someone needs to make a better forehead pad because that thing is driving people crazy. But for the most part, there's just not that much aftermarket support for it. So I'm interested if there's anything out there to check it out, let me know. But thank you for coming out, and I will see you in another reality. Sort of charges. That should have been what we figured out from before.